In the few seconds it took you to click on this explainer, hundreds of software updates were probably deployed around the world. It's a lot to keep up with. But by 2025, the way we make sure all that software actually works is getting a pretty radical AI-powered upgrade. So let's dive in and see what that really looks like.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem, right? We're all building software at this incredible breakneck pace. The apps themselves are more complex than ever. And let's be honest, our users expect absolute perfection from day one. The old traditional ways of testing, they're just cracking under the strain. So the big question is, how do we keep up without, breaking everything?
Well, the biggest answer, by far, is generative AI. And I want to be clear, this isn't just another shiny new tool in the toolbox. It's a full-blown revolution that's changing testing from this slow, sometimes tedious, manual process into something that's genuinely smart and automated.
And that represents a huge shift in thinking. For so long, testing was seen as a bottleneck, the slow, repetitive part that was always prone to human error. But with Gen AI, it becomes a creative accelerator. It helps us find issues we might have totally missed, and it does it at machine speed.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, for manual testers, you could just give Gen AI a simple description of a feature, and bam, it generates a whole bunch of test cases for you. And for automation, it can literally write entire test scripts from scratch. But the real magic, the absolute game changer, is this idea of self-healing. When a developer changes the app's code, which normally breaks all the tests, the AI can now just go in and automatically fix them. That saves countless hours. Okay, so AI as a co-pilot is amazing, but that's just step one. The next evolution is where things get even more powerful. We're talking about autonomous testing agents. Seriously, think of AI not just as a tool you use, but as a new kind of teammate that works alongside you. Now, I know this might sound a little bit like science fiction, but the concept is actually pretty simple. You give an AI agent a high-level goal, something like, hey, thoroughly test our entire checkout process. The agent then goes off, figures out the best strategy on its own, and executes all the necessary tests, without you having to hold its hand. And this whole process is a continuous loop. The agent understands the goal, it comes up with a plan, it runs the tests, and, this is the most important part, it learns and adapts from the results. It's like having this autonomous detective for your code that just gets smarter and smarter over time.
Now, when you have these incredibly powerful new tools, you also have to start rethinking the process itself. The old idea of testing being the separate phase you do right at the end of development, yeah, that's officially dead. Quality is becoming a continuous activity, woven into every single step. We're seeing this timeline expand in two directions at once. On one hand, we're shifting left, which just means we're testing much earlier in the development process to catch bugs before they even become real problems. But we're also shifting right, which means we keep testing and monitoring the app after it's live, using real-world user data to see how it's performing and find those tricky issues you only see in production. Of course, to test effectively across this whole timeline, you need the right playground. And that's where these ephemeral or temporary environments come in. The big idea here is that you can spin up a perfect, clean replica of your live system in just minutes, run all your tests, and then, poof, it just disappears. No more waiting around for slow, outdated, shared test servers. Okay, so the final major trend really ties all of this together. We have these incredible AI tools, we have this new continuous process, but who actually gets to use them? Well, this part is all about making these powerful capabilities accessible to way more people on the team, not just the specialized engineers. I absolutely love this quote because it just perfectly captures the spirit of what's happening with codeless and low-code automation. The goal isn't just to make testing faster, it's to democratize it. It's about empowering product managers, business analysts, even manual testers to jump in and contribute directly to automation. And here's why that's so important. By taking away the need to write lines and lines of complex code, these tools just dramatically lower the barrier to entry. The effort it takes to create and maintain tests just plummets. And that means teams can build really solid test coverage so much faster. Suddenly, quality truly becomes a shared responsibility. So, let's pull all these threads together. The testing landscape of 2025 is really defined by AI acting as both our co-pilot and our autonomous agent. It's a world where testing is happening all the time, from the very first idea to long after the software is released. We'll be doing this work in these perfect, on-demand environments. And maybe most importantly, making sure something is great is no longer just one person's job, it's a team sport.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought to chew on. As AI takes over all the repetitive, technical tasks, what's left for us? What becomes our role? Well, it shifts away from just finding simple bugs and towards the bigger picture. Things like strategic thinking, creative problem solving, deeply understanding the user experience, and asking the right questions. The future isn't about being replaced by AI, it's about being elevated by it.